All right.
Okay, well then prepare that for me not to be there. So.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine.
Cool. All right.
Damn it, Rick.
Oh,
Ooh,
and my internet's
yeah.
cutting out.
Yeah, boy.
Good
Bye.
timing.
Later, man.
See you.
Cool.
Right.
All right.
Bye.
Wreckage, kick ass. I just yeah.
Stop it.
Nice. Yeah, Wreckage, kick ass story.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
Randall is ridiculous.
The problem is I'm pigeonholed into him. I can't really do anything seriously. Like he's fun as hell, but I don't know. He's a
Yeah.
one trick pony.
This is the sort of thing like as you role play more and more, you learn how to avoid that sort of thing in creating a character. You give a character that fun edge, but you also you learn how to make them dimensional enough that you don't get caught in a trap.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was trying to go with that whole toe cutter. I wanted him to like get some stupid 1980s like movie hero idea, and then try to like rescue everybody in a bumbling, not terrible way.
If you had succeeded at that role, if you had gotten a 4 or higher, I would have and depending on how well, I would have said, all future attacks with this weapon have plus blank to their roll.
Like we
Depending
got
on how
perfect.
you've done.
Yeah, no,
We
that's
got like a 10. We got a 10. It should have just been like masterpiece.
it glows in the dark. It's like it's fucking. And people just looking at it makes robots cower in fear. That was totally my bad roll and all that. But
Yeah, no,
I mean-
no helping that. I really wanted you to succeed if that makes you feel any better.
no, that's cool.
I was on your side for that.
It's also kind of funny that I'm walking around with a LARP axe that I think is gonna just do some damage too. First time I get in there, I even know what my battle cry is gonna be when I rush in and just try to bonk him with the plain.
Well, it's
rebar
also certainly not
cardboard.
useless, so there is that.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying JJ.
So.
Spoke for the first time most way through the session.
Yes. He's no longer mute. But yeah, that's the one problem I have with the system is that it'd be nice if I knew how many dice I had left.
Yeah.
So if there's a way I could keep, I have no idea what dice I have or how much I even started with.
I've previously tried to set up the system with Lokes, which was the other one that we ran. I tried to get it so that the dice would carry over from page to page, but nothing I did would get a change that was done on one page to carry over.
You should try the definitely try adding
actually,
like tokens.
If you want to pull up Roll20
There
real
were
quick.
tokens.
Here's what I'm gonna do for you.
Roll20 real quick, and we'll show you the token thing.
They were tokens, and the problem was that if I changed a stat on one page and went over to another page, though it would only work.
All right, make
if
that
I
into a
made
token for me. That green stuff that I just made there.
Next on the bloody map. That one.
It won't let me turn it into a token.
You should be able to turn it into a token. Oh, you actually, I think you need like, what did you say you needed to make tokens?
I can make a token. I can put a token in. I mean,
Yeah,
I've got plenty of.
I'd say because with the token you have the health, you have the red circle, the green circle, and the blue circle or the purple circle. I'd say would it work if you just made one of those? One of them's D10, one of them's D8, one of them's D6.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is,
that's how it doesn't carry over.
well, when I make a change on page, so here's the thing. I
Yeah.
put the tokens on each page ahead of time because I'm going to be swapping back and forth as they are different locations. When I
Okay.
make a change on page 1 and then we change to page 2, the token is how it was when I copied it, not when I made the change on page 1.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Then with that case,
So for Lokes, for example, Dave, we would move from the town map to the sheriff's map to the facility map, right?
Mhm.
And I had tokens on each of those things. But if I changed the information on only one of those maps, it only saved on that map and didn't carry over when you switched.
Try not to spoil too much. In likes.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just tantalizing teasers is all that is.
I mean,
Okay. All right.
Honestly,
but
though,
in that case,
I think the story is really good.
yeah.
It seems a little
I
like
really want a way to keep track of dice. I just need to think of something.
yeah.
Keep going, yeah.
Lokes, I feel like, is a little bigger than this game. I thought this game would be huge, but I mean, like, you could explore every single ride, but
we're
like,
skipping a lot of parts.
I think when the paper blew in our face, it was kind of like it kind of pushed us into a thing, which is interesting because we were heading towards the haunted house anyway.
Yeah.
Mostly because of the role playing aspect of it.
Yeah, I think that was we kind of role played ourselves into a corner there. Like I was taking a back seat to an NPC the whole time, which I probably shouldn't have done that. I should have actually just wandered around some more and did dumb things or almost got killed. So that would have helped me snap out of it and actually start doing a character stuff too.
Also, Frank is kind of like a. I'm not sure if you put him in there just to sort of progress the game along faster.
Oh yeah.
I put him in there for reasons that he hasn't actually fulfilled the role that I wanted him to fulfill. But he ended up filling the role of not immediately killing off one of our player characters because he was an idiot character who had no self-preservation whatsoever.
Sure.
And I really hate what he ended up becoming, which was exactly what I was afraid he would become, which is sort of Gandalf. Gandalfing the party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had a player character who, funny and amusing and great, but who, by the nature of its design, has no self-preservation in a horror setting.
Well, but that's kind of that's why I was trying to do the whole toe cutter thing. I saw that kind of happening, and I kind of wanted like if I start getting if he kind of snaps and gets all heroic, like he might try to act like his 80s action stars and try to actually do something right.
And then I really just wanted to get rid of Frank. But Randy was following him, and I thought, if Frank is uninterested in finding the teenagers, maybe Randy will go after the teenagers and let Frank disappear. But then Randy just kept following.
I figured I was going to need Frank for the story. He was going to be one of those like, okay, gotcha.
So I mean, I actually chalk this up to my own failing because I should have a way as a GM of even as I saw the train wreck of what Frank was becoming, I should have a way of solving
I'll be honest,
that.
it's a pretty minor train wreck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just not what I wanted out of the NPC.
Okay.
It's not what I.
Oh, you're the GM.
Yeah.
We kill him off.
Sometimes the story just evolves without you needing.
I don't like doing and then rocks fall. I don't want Frank to die from a freak accident.
Well, it doesn't need to be freak accident. I'm guessing. Don't tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I'm guessing every one of these little bloody crosshatched X's is a horrible spot where something bad's going to happen to us, and like people are going to jump out and try to murder us.
I have a question.
So I figure.
I have a question. How come my 7, or was it an 8, when I was being strangled, didn't do anything?
Because that was a cumulative success roll. You had to get an amount of success points equal to the strength of what you were up against.
Right, so if I kept just rolling and rolling, eventually I would have got out?
Yeah, that's the point of that type of task, is that it doesn't have a single DC you have to hit. You all have to contribute to a total.
Right. It was kind of frustrating. Everyone's like, I look at it for weak points. I'm like, fucking what? I'm being strangled here, guys.
You have no idea.
Is a free option.
Can I tell you a story?
Sure, go ahead.
First character I ever lost was in Pathfinder.
Yeah.
And I hate the system. I hate Pathfinder because it's so crunchy and there's so many weird things that you like. You have a huge advantage if you've studied ahead of time. You can learn all of the monsters and all of their stats and have this huge advantage. Well, anyway, I was a total greenhorn and knew nothing about Pathfinder, and already I didn't like the idea of Pathfinder as it was explained to me. Anyway, I'm walking in to look up because I've got like an archaeology stat, and we're trying to ascertain this old ruin, and this like hood creature that I don't even remember what it's called. It falls down, wraps over my head, and starts suffocating me and trying to decapitate me. And it's a particular type of sort of like ceiling falling monster like you've seen in every video game ever. Yeah. Anyway, this kills my character, by the way. I don't survive. This enemy is like, and the GM at the end was like, oh, I only threw like a level 2 creature at you or whatever, like, and we're all level 2 or whatever, so it should be fine. But literally everyone just sat around like, if I attack it, I attack him too, right? And then the GM just wouldn't answer that. So literally everyone just sat around, and then they started like punching it, which was like, and they just sat around bickering, which is exactly what happened to you. And the GM just like said, okay, finally they don't accomplish anything, and you die.
I also kind of get the feeling that a lot of us were getting really deep into the whole like helpless teenager mode too. Like I got far too deep in the bumbling security guard thing.
I think I kind of had to force sort of like progression a little bit. Especially because one of the characters was muting himself. You know what I mean? But like,
But then
I,
again, your character also had a very natural.
yeah, that's
was-
kind of why I built
Right.
him that way, because I knew
Yeah.
that we'd need someone to want to go and do these things. So, the program Ultimate Disc is called Roll20. It's a website. It's free to use. You just need an account. It's actually pretty good. I like it a lot. It also does map stuff as well.
Have you not been showing any of these assets on the stream?
No, I have been.
Okay, so they have been seeing these. Really
Yeah,
awesome.
it's just right now I'm
Yeah.
not showing the map.
Yeah, that's fine.
And the one thing that I really liked and I really appreciated it was the sound effects of the guy stomping closer.
Sound effects was good. Oh,
Because-
the volume up, volume down. That was good.
Because of the
You
fact
even lowered
that
the volume on the different gunshots.
yeah, because of the fact that it was like, okay, this is clearly getting closer to us. If we do not do something within the time span, it is going
Yeah.
to do something to us.
You
Like
didn't have to say, yeah, you didn't tell them a word, and everyone got quiet, and then they started whispering when the stuff got a little bit quieter, and then the sneeze, and then the stop. Like that was well played.
yeah, it was well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Yeah.
Mhm.
So if that's probably one of the coolest things I've seen so far about all of this stuff, because
Yeah.
it kind of is like you hear something coming closer, and then we talk for 20 minutes about what we're going to do about this thing as it gets closer to us, instead of it just getting closer to us. So I think I would love for you to experiment more with like things are happening in real time.
Well, yeah. See, so I love assets for exactly this reason.
Yeah.
Because I can get an actual genuine visceral response from people with these assets.
Mhm.
Roll20 is just so limited. It only lets you pull from SoundCloud, for example, which was good and bad because I had
Yeah.
different things in mind for the footsteps, for example. But that was the only thing I could find. And then when I did find those footsteps, like what I was going to do with it, totally changed. And what it became was this. And I like it a lot more than what I was going to do with footsteps.
Mm.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So in some ways, being limited was nice because I found that. But on the whole, like I feel like I can't do nearly half of the things that I would do to you guys if I had like total control over the UI. For example, being able to make a picture appear in a frightening, jumpy, scary sort of way. Like I can't really do that because
I would kill
couldn't
you.
get.
Sorry, Jacob. But
I couldn't even get the handouts to really work in the Fragged Empire. Like I clicked it and then it took forever to load, and then it only showed up for a couple people, and and just the general fact that I'm limited to SoundCloud in general. But yeah, I mean, there's things I can do. I love assets. I would love to experiment more with them, but I definitely feel limited.
The other thing
It's
you
okay.
can do though is, I mean, if you don't want to use Roll20 for sound effects, for example, you can pipe music through your microphone, and then you control it on the back end.
true.
Weird.
Or
I mean,
what's
I
that?
can theoretically do that here.
Yeah, like
So-
Can you say that again?
Pipe music through your Skype.
Oh God, it'd be awful.
Okay.
okay. All right. Well,
Because
Or what about-
I can't. I don't even think I can because I've got a really great headset, which is all I have.
Well,
So
that's
if
what I
I'm-
mean. Like, you can use software to do it, but it's sticky. So
Yeah.
like, I mean, like I can do it with my mixing board, but I
Yeah,
won't
I
because
don't
then you guys would
think
hear yourself as well.
yeah, you kind of lost
no,
me
no,
at
no.
mixing board there.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter about that sort of stuff, but it is possible to do it. Just
I guess my
You
my
need
hope,
extra stuff.
my expectation, and my hope is just that Roll20 keeps getting better and more intuitive,
Mm.
and that eventually, like all of the foundation is there for all of the things that I would theoretically want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a UI, and that maybe as it continues to upgrade. Although since they did Quantum Dice, I haven't really heard what their next big thing is going to be.
Quantum dice. I'm not even sure what that is.
Whenever you roll your dice, you see the little quantum symbol. They're just showing off how they use like quantum mechanics to determine the outcome of a roll. Like
Well, yeah.
I
It's-
had no
oh.
idea what that even was.
it's hyper
Fancy
it's just
math.
showing off how hyper randomized their dice is, as opposed to just being a random number generator.
hmm
Okay.
And I still blew the D10.
Like
Yeah.
it's based off of some scan that's scanning some sort of like thing off in a place, and that's what generates a number. And then Like that's
Okay.
it's hyper randomized.
Okay.
They're scanning a piece of uranium or something somewhere, and that's the things that come off of it, and I don't know. It's just
Okay.
they're just braggy about how hyper randomized it is, and that's fine. But what I'm definitely hoping for is more asset control, and especially with horror in mind, because I feel like that's the place that
Horror is best with the immersion, and
Yeah.
anything you can do that'll add to that'll just freaking be great. But
Mm.
I'll be
Alright,
honest,
but,
I at least appreciate the lack of jump scares, because I think that's what drives me off of the horror genre.
yeah, but I can't do jump scares. I would,
I know.
but it's
That's why I'm happy.
It's not something
That-
to be done.
All right, I
there
think
is
it's
something
time
be said for
to.
subtlety. So.
I think it's time to wrap it up, guys.
All right, then. But real quick before we go, would it be too much of a stretch for my character to kind of do his like 1980s toe cutter take in charge sort of deal next turn, or
Well,
if I
you can do
judge
whatever you like,
myself?
man.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
thinking-
as far as I'm
yeah.
concerned, you're doing
All
it.
right, cool.
It's whether or not you succeed at the dice roll. So
Yeah.
let me just clarify something here. We'll pick this up again next Thursday unless we talk and find out that there's a time that we can do it sooner. Because,
Maybe a Sunday game, and then next
Um,
Thursday we can start whatever you had planned for the second
Yeah.
one.
yeah, that's sort of the thing. Like I have 4
That's fine for
horror
me.
one shots. We're definitely doing the best one first, or the one that I've put the nicest finishing touches on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to do a couple in the middle that are just interesting, but not necessarily as nicely finished. And then I'm hoping to end on a bang for another really good one that I haven't actually started final drafting that yet.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
just to clarify, whether or not we do it in a couple days or next Thursday, which is fine, whichever, we dice pools will be automatically refreshed for the next game just because it's a new system.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
whether or not
the one thing about this game that it's weird is like, when do I use a D10? Do I use it as a joke, or do I use it when I need to save my life? Because it's hard to say. I think it's really
Well, the thing
I-
about even the D10, and the reason why, I mean, this system was designed by a bit of a mathematician, statistician type guy.
Mm.
And in his mind, it's like, well, you're not even going to necessarily succeed with the D10, so no one's going to hold on to it. But in everyone's mind, a D10 is sort of a gimmick.
Yeah.
Like that's my big shot.
That's
the
my
thing-
that's
Go-
my
go
murder
for broke.
murder acts of awesomeness.
Mhm.
The pushback is supposed to be all the ones we can still get on the D10.
Mm.
So like, just use it when you want to do the thing, but it's not necessarily going to save your life even if you save it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
and there's
I was-
I kind of eventually want to try to incorporate some sort of fate point system into this.
Like Edge and Shadowrun.
Not like Edge. I'm not actually familiar with the Shadowrun system, but I'm more thinking
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Edge, I think.
Yeah,
It's
real
basically
quick. The way
First.
Edge works is you have like 3 or 4 points. A character creation, you can add a bunch of them. You
Yeah.
can use a point to re-roll some successes or whatnot. And if you burn a point, if you permanently remove a point, you'll pretty much, like, if your character falls off a building, they won't die.
right.
They
So
might
yeah,
be torn apart.
that's
but it's that
basically
sort of-
the system that's been incorporated in damn near every RPG now, and it's basically the fate point system, and that's what I
Okay,
like rerolling
gotcha.
a die. Or another thing that, for example, you can do with it in the fate system is declare a story detail. Like you can spend a fate point in a situation and say, well, actually, it's
I wanted to see if I could do it, and I totally
Oh,
can.
God, Dave.
Uh,
So wait, when you do the story point, so actually,
it's like
my
Dungeon
character
World.
knows-
You know,
it's
you-
actually raining. Like you can do that. Like you can spend
Okay.
the point
Okay.
with the spend, and it was, up until this point we were just assuming it was dry, but you spend the point and say, actually, it's been raining.
and then I throw my lightning bolt at him.
Yeah, something like that. So that's the sort of
I think
system that
that'd
I'd
work.
eventually like to maybe incorporate into this.
Okay.
But I don't know if that takes too much of the wind out of the sails of a horror game.
I think
I think
honestly,
you can limit
die
the points.
rolls need to speak for themselves, but it's more of like up to the players of when, like maybe it's better to like. Well, how about this? A system
Personally,
that
I
allows
hate
you
rant.
to refresh your dies rather than just like going to sleep, because that is pretty much the only way that you can refresh your die, right? Going to sleep, resting. Maybe there's a way to refresh your dies. Maybe whenever you find something or do something good in the game, you can refresh your dies so that you
Well, see,
want
the
to
reason
use
why
the
it's-
die more often.
it's sleeping and sort of eating like those actual things that restore a human being, and the reason it's like that is for the survival horror part of things. Like, imagine if you're all out of dice, all of you. That means you're all exhausted and you have to sleep.
Yeah.
So you now have to
Okay.
sleep in this
Gotcha.
part for a couple
That's
hours.
where the safety thing would kick in. Okay.
And then suddenly it becomes a whole, like, that puts an extra dimension that that only comes up when you all run out of
Gotcha.
dice. And I say, as the GM, like, you guys can't go another step. You're exhausted. You have to find a way to hunker down for a couple hours at least.
Okay. See, I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah, that turns.
Oh, well. No, that adds a fun layer to it. So.
Yeah, and I try to keep that. I mean, it's always been. They learned it when they played Lokes that's how that works.
Yeah. No, I came to this.
But I
late.
don't want to say it outwardly because I'd rather get to the point where you're out of dice and I say as a GM, you guys
Yeah.
are exhausted. You have to sleep.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, oh man, I'm getting kind of low and I'm kind of in a safe spot. Well, let's just take a nap. Like, why?
Yeah. Gotcha.
Does the character want to take a
Okay.
nap all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Yeah. You never want to encamp in the middle of a dungeon when you're halfway through.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got to wrap up.
Cool.
Yeah,
So
sounds
thanks
good.
everyone for
All right.
playing. Thanks everyone for watching. If you haven't, please give me a follow. It really helps me out. After this, I'm probably gonna I think there's like one other D&D game or dungeon game going on at the moment. So we'll probably get. I'll probably host them because they look like they're having a bit of fun over there. So you can stick on the channel and watch that if you want. But on this Saturday at 3 p.m. PST, we will have a Wrath of the Minotaur game coming up, and that's going to be fucking amazing.
That time already.
Yeah. And there's going to be some cool shit going down in that game, that's for damn sure. And then the following Thursday, we will have another one-shot or one-shot.
continuation.
Depending on how we figure this stream
Yeah.
scheduling out. If we do
Midan
one or-
Black Halo, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. I hope I said your name right, but yeah, absolutely love it when people follow me. It's good. Thank you,
Cool.
buddy. But
right.
yeah, so on Monday we'll do Monday Night Indie, and Tuesday we'll be doing Magical Tuesdays, which is when I play Magic. It's gonna be sweet. It's good. No, it's good. It's good shit, dude. It's good
I
TV.
told you it ain't my poison, man.
No, it's fine.
I-
Not
I've
everyone is.
never played Magic in my life.
You should watch. You can watch me. You can watch me fail. It's good.
and I will make inspirational commentary if I'm around.
Yeah.
Deal.
Rec
I'll
is
tell,
normally
I'll tell
my
more drunken
wingman.
dead baby jokes.
So, anyways, guys, we out. Thank you very much for watching.
Later.
Ultimate Disc. Thank you very much for the follow. Yeah, the love is being spread around at the end. Thanks,
Yeah,
mate.
that's because,
Appreciate it.
just a stellar performance all around.
No, it was. It was really good. Oh yeah. Also, if you missed any of this, it'll start going up on YouTube probably tomorrow. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I got no more stuff to do. All right, guys. We out.
Hey.
Later.
Bye.
See you guys.